The raging ABA League champion Crvena Zvezda steamrolled Zadar to retain the first place in the standings. Their closest rivals, Budućnost and Cedevita, also scored wins against MZN Mornar. Partizan wasn't able to profit on Mornar's defeat because they were unsuccessful in Ljubljana. The Belgrade team is definitely out of the running for playoffs. As always, at the end of the show, we give you the top 5 moves of this round. Welcome to ABA Magazine. Redstar made an emphatic win against Zadar. Final score was 97-67 and kept the first place before the break of ABA League. And before the start of the game, there was a ceremony that marked an important jubilee. Branko Lazic, captain of Redstar, played his 430 game in red and white jersey and thus became a club recorder. Visitors arrived to Aleksandar Nikolić Hall without Kraljević and Špralja, while home team was without Pero Antić. Since Zadar already lost all chances for playoff, Zadar concentrated on the upcoming final for Croatian Cup, in which they will be hosts. With game like that, they managed to put up a fight during first 10 minutes only. In the next 30 minutes, fans were able to enjoy festival of 3 points and attractive slam dunks. Visitors opened game better and got 10-4 lead, but Lesor didn't allow them to gain significant lead. Aramis Naglić team led until the last minute of the first period, after which Feldin and Dangubic scored for free and started the run that continued throughout second period, and very soon they had double-digit lead. After that, there was no turning back for the team from Croatian coastline. At the middle of the period, after a series of slam dunks after good defense and steals, current champion goes to plus 15. Dusan Olimpijevic's team made 13 shots for 3 points, 10 of which were in the second half. Feldin scored 3 of those in a short time, and Domic played great, especially on 2-on-2 plays. Zadar was unable to match fat and informed champion, so the lead increased until it came to final plus 30. This allowed coach for Belgrade's team to eventually distribute play minutes, so no one spent more than 20 minutes in play ahead of upcoming challenges, and all 12 players managed to score points. Most efficient players were Feldin and Omic with 14 points each. Lesor had 13 points and 8 rebounds. Jankovic scored double digits too with 11 points, while Davidovac added another 10. In losing team, best player was Christian Krajina with 16 points, while Knowles ended the game with 10 points. Only second time since Partizan started competing in ABA League, they won't play in playoff of regional competition. Even before game in Ljubljana, Black and Whites had a slim chance to reach 4th place. And when they dropped 10 points lead with just 6 minutes left to play, Nenad Čanak's team lost final chance to get to the playoffs. Olympia won after extra time. Final score was 89-87, and second time this season won against club with the most regional titles. Visitors from Belgrade held the lead for almost 40 minutes. They were very inspired and at the half of the first period had 17-9 lead. Zoran Martic's team consolidated their defense and continued to trail, but didn't allow their rivals to get to the double-digit lead. Great finish of the second and start of the third period gave Slovenian champion first lead on the game, and team from Belgrade responded with 12-0 run and got their first double-digit lead. Partizan had a lot of problems with shots from distance, but they compensated that with offensive rebound and 2-point attempts. Until last 4 minutes, it seemed that Black and Whites will manage to win in Tivoli. But after several bad solutions in offense and couple of unbelievably easy turnovers, allowed home team to make a full comeback. Olympia scored for 3 points. Span started scoring too, so with a 10-0 run, they managed to have 77-75 lead, with just over a minute before the end. Williams Goss equalized the score and both teams were unable to make winning shots, so we entered extra 5 minutes. Olympia missed their shot, Partizan had a possession for the win, but one wasn't able to make it, so overtime was needed. And in extra 5 minutes, Partizan had their chance. They led 84-80, with just under 2 minutes before the end, but home team made much better choices when attacking. It seemed that Olympia owned the game after 8-0 run, but when Veličković made 3-point shot and Morgan missed a free throw, allowed Marinković a chance for the winning shot. He wasn't precise, so Partizan received their 10th loss of the season. For the long time, Hrovat was the only player that made shots from distance, and with 22 points was most efficient player in the winning team. But Span made all the difference with 16 points in a great game against Partizan. Oliver added another 13 points to more than Begic. On the other end, American players Williams Goss with 23 points and 7 assists and one with 17 points, 7 rebounds and 5 assists were the most efficient in Partizan. Last team to participate in the season's playoff is Mornar. Team from Bar lost in the round 20 against Cedevita, in which they were the hosts. But since Partizan was unable to win in Ljubljana, Mihajlo Pavićević's team qualified for the playoff. Croatian champion won 94-89 and made sure that they will be at least third at the end of the regular season. And they also ended Mornar's 7-win series in regional championship. Juras Dovc couldn't count on Dimitris Nichols, who missed this game due to family reasons, but his absence wasn't noticed in the offensive play. Both teams had a great 2-point shot rate. Cedevita made 3 more 3-point shots and had just 8 turnovers. Visitors in Topolica Hall managed to hold the lead for full 40 minutes. In offense, they managed to score easy points and had plus 12 lead at the end of the first period. Not much changed during the second period. They held a double-digit lead, which rose to plus 16. Since they allowed 53 points in first 20 minutes, home team started playing aggressively in both offense and defense, and the game picked up the momentum. Cedevita held on to the lead, but team from Bar managed to stay in the game mostly due mini scoring runs. When they made 8 unanswered points at the end of the third period, they managed to get to 7-point deficit and announced exciting last 10 minutes. It seemed that Visitor will finally broke the game after they doubled the lead in the first 3 minutes of the last period, but Mornar responded with 12-4 run. Cedevita didn't allow full comeback, and crucial shot was made by Krušlin for 3 points. He scored all of his 12 points from behind 6th 75 line. Johnson played his best game since he arrived in Zagreb. He scored 16 points, such as Will Cherry. Ukic scored 14, while Stipanovic added another 12, with 9 rebounds, 4 assists and 2 steals. Lukovic played a great game for Mornar. He made 22 points without missing a shot, while adding 13 rebounds. Rally Ross scored 16, but home team needed better game by Needham, who scored 14 points, but from the total of 18 shots. Budućnost made an easy win against last-placed MZT in Morača Hall. Aleksandar Džikic's team played without Aleksa Ilić and Filip Barović, while Nikola Ivanović was on roster, but once again didn't get any playtime. Champion of Macedonia traveled to Podgorica with 10-player roster after the management decided to terminate contract with Croatian playmaker Dominik Mavra, and their newest addition, Aleksej Nešović, didn't play in this game. In the first half, Džikić managed to eventually distribute playtime, and thanks to the great 3-point percentage, team from Podgorica had a huge plus 20 lead at the half-time break. Home team just kept their lead until the end of the game, and newest addition for Budućnost, Justin Dolman, scored 4 3-point attempts in third period. At the end, they managed to have their biggest lead of the game with plus 42. Final score was 104-62. Budućnost scored most 3 points in a single game this season, which is 19, and also scored most points too. Most efficient was Nikolić with 21 points, while Dolman scored another 14. In the losing team, Jure Larić scored 17. When the two youngest teams in the competition came head-to-head, Mega Bemax defeated FMP in Sremska Mitrovica 74-72. Home team coach Dejan Milojević couldn't count on the injured Kostja Mušidi, Stefan Fundić and Mihajlo Jovicic, but for the first time this season, he played the young Nikola Mišković. After the game against Crvena Zvezda, Stefan Lazarević and Aleksa Radanov were back in FMP's team. After a great number of fouls and free throws on both sides, Mega took the win and the revenge for their first game. The first quarter was very dynamic. The score after the first 10 minutes was 23-23 and the crowd thought it was going to be a high points match. But no such luck. During the second period, Mega wasn't able to score that much, while j.t.d and Koprivica reached an alarming number of fouls. The guests took advantage of the situation by the halftime. They were 7 points in the lead, 40-33. When the game resumed, Ognjen Jaramaz inspired the home team's attack, but it wasn't enough. By the end of the third period, they were still lagging behind, 54-59. Vladimir Jovanovic's team kept their distance during the final quarter, but 2 minutes before the end, Mega scored 4 unanswered points and evened the score. In a dramatic finish, the score was 72-72, 29 seconds before the end of the game. FMP was in attack, but Goga Bitadze blocked Filip Čovic's attempt. Dejan Milojević asked for timeout 4 seconds before the end, after which Ognjen Jaramaz made a beautiful shot over Stefan Pot. The home crowd was ecstatic. FMP had 41 free throws in the game, of which they missed 12. The best in the winning team was Jaramaz with 20 points, while Čančar finished the game with 12. Best for the team from Železnik were Čović and Pot, who scored 18 points each. Cibona defeated Igokea in Draženov Dom 87-86, ending a 6-games-long losing streak. For this game, the guests couldn't count on their captain Vuk Radivojević and Đorđe Milošević. The home team started the game off better. The league's best shotter Luka Žorić wasn't having a great night, but Cibona did good with their 3-pointers, and at the end of the first quarter, they were in the lead, 24-19. Igokea was struggling with their distance shots, but they had no problems under the hoop, thanks to Rikić and Jeftović. The home team regained strength in the attack, thanks to the inspirational Marko Ljubicic, and the guests reduced their deficit. However, Žorić and Ratkovica wouldn't let their team go down. Thanks to these players, Cibona went on break in the lead 44-39. Ante Nazor's men started the third quarter with a 14-2 series. Karlo Uljarević scored 11 out of his 14 points during this third period. At the beginning of the final quarter, the score was 71-61. It seemed that Cibona was in for the win, but then the home team's performance dropped. Igokea scored 14 unanswered points, and 4 minutes before the end of the game, they were leading 70-66. After Artis scored 2 free throws, the guests were in the lead, 86-80. Those were the last points Dragan Bajic's men scored. Igokea missed a number of opportunities, and badly organized attacks costed them dearly. The score was 86-86 when Dragan Bajić had his team to make a foul for the last attack. Branislav Ratkovica scored one of his 2 free throws. The guests led the attack, but Reinhardt was unable to score. Cibona's best player was Luka Žorić with 19 points and Uljarević with 14. In the defeated team, Reinhardt finished the game with 17 points and Jeftović with 16. Budućnost made the biggest bang with their triumph in round 20. Their most valuable player in the game against MZT was Danilo Nikolić. He finished the game with 21 points, 3 assists, 1 turnover and 1 block. He was 1 rebound away from a double-double. 24 minutes were enough for him to obtain the performance value index of 33. Uroš Luković had the best individual performance of the round, but Mornar suffered a defeat. Danilo Nikolić from Budućnost is the MVP of the round. Thank you for watching ABA League magazine. The league is going on a short break, but round 21 will be back in full force on March 3rd. See you then.